all my seniors out here at the audience. I have experience of many years of handling events, last 13 years. Been to many, spoken at many. I am yet to see an event which gained so much of momentum in last 1 month on WhatsApp. Ladies and gentlemen, let us give a very big thundering applause to the full DGDX committee group, especially Mr. Maritime, for getting the mass audience on WhatsApp, and it's really splendid. Thank you, sir, for giving me an opportunity to come to this.
One more additional minute for you.
One more additional minute for me. Thank you very much. Right, I am here to speak on mentoring. Let me, before I speak on the topic, let me show you a small video. Ladies and gentlemen, I remember a small story which happened to me many years ago when I was driving in Calcutta. I had my sister in front of me in the car, and it was a long drive, about 1.5 hours. In Calcutta those days, even today in Calcutta, 1.5 hours is considered to be a long drive. Till I am based in Mumbai now, I came to know 1.5 hours is your daily drive to, from your home to your office. But it's still a long drive outside Mumbai. And we wanted to stop at the dhaba to have tea, so I parked my car and my sister was on the other side. Suddenly she felt a small nibble in her toes, and she saw that it was a small puppy. And she thought that the puppy was very hungry, so she took up the puppy and we bought food and we bought milk and we fed the puppy, and she wanted to take the puppy home, so we asked a few questions, and it's not very easy, not very difficult to take a puppy home in India. So we took the puppy home, but the puppy kept on crying all night, Nothing that we could do. We fed it milk again and again, but nothing happened. It kept on crying. And that's why I named the story as the crying puppy. So we called up the doctor. The doctor came in the morning and said, I can't do anything. The puppy is absolutely okay. Maybe you can do good to take it back from where it came from. So off we went again, sister and myself. We took the puppy back. And as soon as we reached the place, she opened the door and the puppy scampered. And what do we see? He went and perched itself inside a banana leaf, and the crying stopped. That left an indelible mark on my conscience, ladies and gentlemen. I came to know, even when after that I took up training as a profession, I came to know that all of us, at some point in our lives and in our minds, we do need a banana leaf to come back into. Because this banana leaf in our days to come is going to give us what we need the most. And in terms of most, I say, giving us the impetus to becoming a good human being. Mentoring is traditionally defined as development assistance offered to a junior employee. It's traditionally defined by somebody more senior, experienced in the organization. There are maybe 3 types of mentoring. career-oriented mentoring facilitates the career development of the protege, the psychological or psychosocial mentoring, and the life skills mentoring. Now I take this opportunity to tell you here that in this auditorium, perhaps you have the best minds of training and development in the industry. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank all of you for giving the banana leaf to all of us and all of the seafarers. And it is through you that India tomorrow is going to be a better seafaring industry. Thank you very much. As for me, as a seafarer, I would also like to express my gratitude and thank you for spending time and spending your career on our training. Ladies and gentlemen, we hear this word coaching and mentoring and training and development all the time in synonymous. Training and development. There are certain differences with training and development. Coaching is functional. Coaching is for a particular function, while mentoring is based on relationships. Coaching is short term. You can have a coaching session for even a week, whereas mentoring can go up to many years. Now, this particular presentation is not generally on the advantage of mentoring. Going forward, you will see I will have slides. I wanted to share with you the not only on the benefits of mentoring, but how to put the mentoring program into use. You know, when I am talking to senior level officers and engineers and in courses in our day-to-day lives, and I asked the captain, sir, did you mentor your seafarer on board? He looked at me and asked me, "Kabhi sikhaya tha kya?" I looked at myself and I said, true. We all talk of mentoring. You know, we've been to many seminars where we've discussed the advantages of mentoring, and we've discussed and agreed that mentoring is one of the greatest tools to become, build our future leaders. But have we imparted the knowledge of how to mentor? And my presentation is based on this imparted knowledge. Mentoring structure and benefits, forms and structure. There are various benefits of mentoring. So basically, the outlines of mentoring are to create continuity of culture. You can transcend the mentoring into different cultures. It promotes diversity. Believe me, the new generation is very diverse in their way of working. It positively influences people's perception and adds to your success, ensuring adequacy supply of leadership talent and sharing of knowledge with other leaders. But my biggest question to you, ladies and gentlemen, is again, I come back. We all know the benefits of mentoring. How do we know how to mentor? Now, I have certain key elements of mentoring. One is, it's very difficult to become a mentor without being a leader. I'll tell you a small story. This story goes back in 1930s when a mother saw that his child was taking a lot of sugar. So she wanted to take the child to Mahatma Gandhi for advice. I don't know. I mean, this is one of those messages you get on WhatsApp, so you can't believe. But I don't give you any genuinity. But then, since it's a good story, I want to share with you. So his mother wanted to take the child to Mahatma Gandhi, and Mahatma Gandhi was very far off. So she went along, and they crossed fields and roads, and maybe perhaps mountains and all. You know how WhatsApp gets sometimes. And then he goes up and comes down, and then ultimately he reaches the Mahatma Gandhi's ashram, and he looks at Mahatma and says, "Mahatma, I want you to tell my son that it is very bad to have too much sugar because he will die." And Mahatma Gandhi looked at the son and says, "Can you come back after 1 month?" So the mother took back the son, and after 1 month she repeats the exercise. She comes back and she traverses the fields and roads and comes back again. And same question he asked Mahatma, "Can you tell my son that he should not have sugar? Sugar is bad for health, he will die." And the Mahatma Gandhi looks at the son and says, "Do not have sugar because you will die." But then the lady says, "Sir, Mahatma, I'm very confused. Why didn't you tell this in the first time?" He says, "I didn't tell this because at that time I personally were having too much of sugar." So ladies and gentlemen, although I don't know whether this is true, but I know that this example is true. We need to lead by examples. Trusting relationships. I'm a man who always believes in relationships. I can tell you from my personal experience that you can get things done through relationships, which even money and which even a lot of other things will not ever give you. You can benefit for mentors developing a mentoring culture. Mentoring culture, once you start developing a mentoring culture in your organization, you will see more and more people are getting gifted and getting attracted to mentoring. Commitment from both sides. Now, I want to share last 2 weeks back, my son was diagnosed with dengue and he was admitted in the Nanavati hospital. And I was staying with him, my wife and I was staying with him. So I took the opportunity to meet a doctor because I was not feeling well. So I went down and I saw a long queue outside the doctor's chamber. So I went to the first person who was standing in the very first line towards the doctor's chamber, and I told him, sir, I have a request. My son is there up there in the hospital in one of the cabins, and I just have 5 minutes because they're going to change some channels, and the doctor will be leaving. So can you, if you would excuse me, I just have to show some reports, and I want to ask your permission. So at first he said, definitely yes. I mean, it's 5 minutes. It's okay. You can go ahead. And then he looked, and there was this lady sitting, obviously his wife. And this story has nothing to do with the wives in the auditorium, right? And he looks at the wife, and the wife glares at him and says, and then he says, no, I'm sorry, I mean, I've got a lot of things to do, I cannot give you this much time. Gentlemen, this is, to most of us, this is a perfect example of mentoring, but it's not actually. That's just husband and wife relationships. But mentoring itself is something that is maybe a little bit that misunderstood in the industry. We have mentoring issues whereby we undergo career development, and I'm sure most of you have mentoring programs, but I do not know whether you have the feedback from these seafarers of how to make it more successful. Make it simple. One of the best things that you can do is make a mentoring program simple. Mentoring will not be successful without management involvement. Right, for those of you, I don't know whether you are aware of this, some of you may be. This is something called the trust equation, where C is credibility, R is reliability, I is intimacy, and S is self-orientation. So if you see the numerators, if you increase the credibility and reliability, and if you increase the intimacy between you and your partner, you will increase trust. But if you increase on the denominator, that is on the self-orientation, the trust factor will go down. So these needs to be taught, and these needs to be carried forward to the training of the trainers and in mentorship, so that people can take over in the mentorship classes. Guidelines to create a successful mentoring program, right? I have some I'm going to go a bit fast here. Program objectives are decide on the goals. There is nothing called the right program. It's your company, it's your objective, it's your goals. You have to decide on the mentoring program, and you have to decide on the goals. You have to decide on the target of who you want to mentor, who will be the mentor. You have to decide and make the mentoring program. There has to be a mentoring design. Without a mentoring design, the mentoring program itself will fall flat. You have to have a lead, a chair, and a manage. You have to, in order to influence people, you need a sponsor, you need a chair, and you need to manage these people in order to influence them towards the mentoring program. You have to set mentoring process. Nothing happens without a process. In the new quality structure, people say you're getting rid of documents. Yes, but you're not getting rid of process. Everything that we do in our lives has to conform to a particular process. So have the mentoring process, place responsibilities, prepare action plans, clearly provide forms and checklists and whatever, so that people who are involved in the mentoring committee, they know exactly what you are doing and how it is to be done. Mentor selection is a very important thing. How do you select mentors? It's your company, you know who does best, you know who has best skills, and you have to have a mentoring pool. I will come back to the mentoring pool later, and I will share my experiences how we can build on mentoring pools. Mentee pool, you cannot train everybody. Some of the FAQs that we have, people ask questions like, who do you mentor? Do you mentor everybody in the organization? No. This is depending on your goals and objectives that you want to do. Okay, so Mr. Wankar's clock is going on. Okay, so I will share the program objectives, and relationship pairing is very important. It can be either voluntary, it can be either documented in your company manuals. Communicating the mentoring program to others within your company is also very important. Sustainable program, there's a four-stage cycle of mentoring. Quick handbook of mentoring that you can have. Training mentors, train the trainers, train the mentors to do their job properly. Educate mentees on their roles and responsibilities. Provide a logbook of mentors. Take feedback. This is the idea of mentoring implementation in the shipping industry. If you brainstorm, we can have a mentor pool, and Jet General of Shipping is here, madam. Going forward, we can invite companies to send in their names of mentors, people you think will perform well, and we can have industry-led and a government-led mentor pool where seafarers can call up their mentors. We can have these list of mentors in the shipping website, or maybe have them in their own companies. It can be internalized in your company. It can be internalized in your director of shipping, in the director of shipping website. Training of mentors, senior officers maintain a record book. You know, I met a captain. I asked him, "Sir, do you have a cadet record book in your company?" He said, "Of course. We are very, very hard-fast on cadet record books where the cadet writes what he does." I said, "Do you have a master record book?" He said, "What stupid? Are you crazy? Will you give a record book to a master?" I said, "Think about it. Why can't you have a record book and give it to a master and say, 'Sir, fill up the hours that you do mentoring on board'? Why can't the chief officers go and spend some time and say, 'We will come back to the record book, and after the director of shipping assigns this so many hours as mentoring hours, we will get us a review after ASM.'" Something needs to be done, gentlemen. Otherwise, if we leave it up to the people, the mentoring program will just fall flat. Mentoring contracts, there are mentoring contracts which are available. Debriefing by mentors. Invite mentors for lectures in your office. Curriculum, feedback, solicitation from mentees. In conclusion, and I know this is very fast. It's more. I think this is the first time I've gone faster than a bullet train maybe. But in conclusion, let's watch a video titled "The Tree." Right? Ladies and gentlemen, there was this small boy who was taken to a fair by his father. When you go to the fair, you have a lot of balloons, helium balloons, and so he saw different colors of balloons. He saw blue, he saw orange, he saw white, he saw red. Then he saw a black balloon. It's not generally you see a black balloon. So he asked his father, "Do you think that black balloon will also fly?" The father looked at him and said, "It is not what is the color of the balloon that makes it fly, it is what is inside." Let us remember, ladies and gentlemen, the terminal majority, the seafarers, the young generation today, has untapped potential. Are we giving them the banana leaf? Thank you very much.